When I think about making a marinade for lamb, or anything actually, I think about what's commonly used with it. I don't need to like reinvent the wheel every time. And when I think of lamb, I think of garlic, rosemary, and maybe some lemon. All kinds of Greek, Mediterranean flavors. So I'm going to start with 4 big cloves of garlic. And instead of using the big food processor, I love this little mini chop. Just so convenient. I need 3 tablespoons of fresh rosemary. Unfortunately, I have a lot of it in my garden. Just peel it off the stems. Give it a big chop. There's something about the combination of lamb and rosemary. They just go together. So why fight it? I mean, if you wanted to do lamb and tarragon, the lamb would really sort of overpower the tarragon. But rosemary has that same kind of really like strong flavor that would stand up to it and complement it. My friend Frank's coming over. I know he loves lamb, so that's good. So that should be about 3 good tablespoons of rosemary. You don't have to cut it up so finely because I'm going to chop it up in the mini chop. You need a little oregano, 1½ teaspoons, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of pepper, and just give it a chop. Look how convenient this is. I love this. Sure beats chopping it up by hand. So I'm just going to mix the marinade right in the dish that I'm going to marinate the lamb in. So all of this just goes right in. And then I'm just going to add classic marinade ingredients. So first I have freshly squeezed lemon juice, about 1/2 cup. Really important for it to be fresh. 1/2 cup of olive oil. It's like making a vinaigrette, actually. Lemon juice, olive oil. Just pour it in. And then to add to the flavor, I'm going to add red wine to it. But you really want to make sure it's a really good red wine. This is a good Côte de Rhône. 1/2 cup of red wine. I'm just going to stir these guys together. Just stir all the herbs and the lemon juice. So what I've done is I've taken a rack of lamb and I've asked the butcher to cut it into individual chops. I'm just going to put each one right in the marinade. So this is going to marinate for about at least 2 hours. If I have time to marinate it overnight, that's what I do. So this is 2 racks of lamb, which makes 16 individual chops. I think that's enough for Frank and me. Okay, I'm just going to wrap these up, put it in the fridge, and then I'm going to get the grill all set up. Ready to grill the lamb. It's been marinating in the garlic and rosemary, oregano. Just gonna sprinkle it with salt and pepper just before I put it on the grill. Okay, these are gonna cook really fast, like 4 minutes on each side. I've got a grill that has pretty hot coals, but it's just 1 layer. You don't wanna overcook these guys. Whoa! So this is rack of lamb, and if you can only buy a rack of lamb whole and you don't have a butcher, you can just cut it into chops yourself. It's quite easy. It's Frenched, which means that the bones are cleaned off. Where's Jeffrey when I need him? Okay. Hot mitt. Hot fire. So I can really smell the garlic and rosemary, and the lamb's gonna be just delicious. This is gonna be so good with the yogurt and mint sauce. Yum. Because there's so much oil in the marinade, I actually wouldn't pour more marinade on it. Otherwise, you'll have like an inferno. I mean, do these look delicious or what? I think the thinner ones are done. I'm just gonna put them on a platter and then let them rest. I'm gonna cover them with foil, let them rest for about 10 minutes, and then all the juices get back into the lamb. Ooh, these look so delicious. By the time you get the small ones off, the bigger ones are ready, so. It's a good system. Boy, that is one gorgeous platter of rack of lamb. Cover it with foil and just let all the juices get back into it. What you want to be sure is don't ever put it back in the marinade, and don't use the marinade as a sauce because it had raw meat in it. Cover it like that. Cover it really securely so it stays hot. And while that rests, I'm going to get the rest of the meal ready. When I was thinking what kind of sauce would be good with the lamb, I thought classic Greek flavors again. So yogurt, mint. This is going to be delicious. I'm making a mint and yogurt sauce for it. First, I need a half a cup of chopped mint leaves. You know, I'm going to chop up the leaves. I can certainly measure a half a cup of leaves, but it's a whole different measurement when they're chopped leaves. And I think it's much more accurate. And I want the flavors to be exactly the right proportion. Okay, I'm just going to give it a big rough chop and then measure it. So the base of the sauce is yogurt, and then it's got all kinds of things, mint, dill, scallions to give it a little heat. It's gonna have lots of flavor, so that should be about half a cup, right into the food processor. 2 tablespoons of dill. Dill, just run your knife along the stems. The stems of dill are tender, so it doesn't really matter. So I'd say that's about 2 tablespoons chopped dill and 6 scallions. I'm just going to give them a rough chop because they're going to get cut up in the food processor. This is not the place for dried herbs. You want really that fresh sort of zing of fresh herbs. Put it right in. Now for a little heat, just a little pinch of red pepper flakes. Just give it a little punch. A tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to make a paste, which I'm going to add the yogurt to. A little bit of lemon juice, about a tablespoon. I'll squeeze it right in. Okay, nice squeeze of lemon, just give it that fresh lemon hit. And just grind it up until a coarse paste. And that really releases all the fresh herb flavor. So I'm just going to add 7 ounces of yogurt. This is Greek yogurt, of course, since we're making Greek lamb, which is really thick yogurt. A teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper. I think Frank's going to like this for lunch. And just give it a whir. So that's about as easy as the sauce gets, doesn't it? Just want to make sure it tastes great. I love all the green herbs in it. It's just fantastic. It's really tangy from the yogurt, and the mint is so clear, and all the herbs, oh, this is just delicious. It's going to be really good with the lamb. So because it's a really thick sauce, instead of pouring it over the lamb, I'm going to put it under the lamb. I'll show you. I'm just going to put it right down the middle of this plate, and then put the lamb right on top of it. The lamb's resting. When it's done, it's just going to go right down the middle of this platter. Well, how good does this look? Salad's done, the sauce is done. All I have to do is plate up the lamb. So I'm going to put the lamb on with their little legs crossing. Let's see how this goes. Just like that. And just rest them right on the sauce. Oh, they're so juicy. Ah. Grill some lamb and a man shows up. Works every time. So it's grilled Greek lamb.
With some fabulous sauce?
It's got a yogurt and mint sauce. So
Looks fantastic.
You ready for a little dinner?
I am indeed.
Outside in the garden? What do you think, as long as we're talking about the garden?
That sounds great. Can I?
One more.
One more?
Yeah. Just like that. And maybe a little lemon on the end.
Perfect.
Just in case. Does that
It
look
is
good?
Beautiful.
Okay, you take the lamb.
I got it.
I'll take the tomato salad.
Perfect.
We can imagine ourselves in Mykonos. Don't tell Jeffrey.